So if you're wanting to become an entrepreneur, I think there's one key thing that you have to ask yourself, and it's, are you passionate about it?
I think a lot of people that want to be entrepreneurs talk themselves out of doing what they want to do. But a true entrepreneur doesn't think like that. A true entrepreneur thinks, yes, I am capable of doing that.
Young people to me they have the most potential in my mind to be successful entrepreneurs.
My name is Tighe Bullock. My business is property management and development. The company name is Bullock Properties, LLC. I was inspired to develop this business because I wanted to manage my own life, and I wanted to have control over my own destiny, really. And I wanted to work on things that I wanted to work on, and that I felt were valuable for me to work on. I felt like I wanted to work for myself at an early age. I didn't think it would ever come to anything, but then the opportunity presented itself, and I rolled with it. I took advantage of that. When I was 18 years old, I would say, I started managing a business for another company and decided that I could do it for myself. I started my business in 2009 when I think I had just turned 20. And I was in college at WVU at the time, and I drove home every single weekend for a whole semester. My friends thought I dropped out, honestly, but I was driving back to Charleston, and I was taking care of what I needed to for my business, and it was a great opportunity, and it's been great ever since. The first step in starting my business was contacting the Secretary of State's office at the state capitol. It was a $100 fee. It took about an hour and a half to set up. It was all online. My understanding is that the website for our Secretary of State is much easier than other states. I found it very easy to do the paperwork. A little bit of guidance helped me, asking some questions with people in the same field. But overall, the paperwork part of it, which would seem to be the scariest part, was not that difficult. The person who inspired me the most was my father. He started his business years ago, and he's worked harder and longer on it, but I've never seen him happier before, and that inspired me to do the same thing. It was absolutely essential to have somebody start as a mentor, to guide you, to give you advice, to support you, sometimes to come in and give you a helping hand when nobody else would come and help you. There was a lot of uncertainty when starting my business, but that was my own uncertainty. I feel like everyone around me was very supportive and understood the pressures I was under, the stresses and the time constraints, and my friends were great. My business started on the west side of Charleston, and it used to be a very thriving, beautiful place, and I saw the opportunity for it to be so again. A lot of young, amazing, interesting people were moving into the area. There were some programs being started that were facilitating businesses for young people, and I saw the market potential in this, and I wanted to be a part of that. My company is a member of an organization on the Charleston's west side called West Side Main Street Program, which is a wonderful quasi-government program that is dedicated to rehabilitating downtown areas, which goes exactly in line with what my incentives are with my business. So I attend all of their board meetings. I donate to the events that they sponsor. We've been working on them recently with getting a mural on the side of one of my buildings in Charleston that kind of celebrates the atmosphere of the West Side. So I think that's a really great organization. I'm very proud to work with them. I'm from West Virginia, and I see West Virginia as being a great place for a young business person to stay. It's a warm, conducive environment to business. It's a small place, so a lot of people know each other, and a lot of other people have small businesses too, and it's a great way to market with other people in a small, conducive environment. My biggest challenge was time constraints. Between balancing having a social life, having a academic life, and starting my business, not to mention all the other things, family, friends, that was the biggest challenge, was managing my time appropriately. The biggest risk I saw when starting my business was obviously failure of the business. Would I be providing a product that people wanted? Would I have the time to provide that product? The risks were definitely there, and I found that the best way to overcome those risks, or at least what made me feel better about those risks, was working harder through it. I just put my nose to the grindstone and worked my way out of any uncertainties that I had. The biggest challenge for my company is the day-to-day operations of the company, where I have such limited time constraints. It's very hard for me to be on the day-to-day. If something breaks, if something is leaking, there's an accident, something needs to be fixed. I'm 2 hours away from my business, where my main business is located, so it's really the day-to-day operations, and I found that overcoming that was through finding good workers back home that I could rely on while I was away. My biggest success with running my company is helping other businesses having started their business. I think it's kind of a domino effect with my business, and that's one of the things I really like about it, is that I can help people who were in my position just a few years ago starting up their company. I can say, hey, I was there, I know what you're going through, I'll help you work on this. This is what I did to get through this. This is what I would suggest you do. It's been the biggest success for me. The biggest lesson I've learned when running my company was how to manage individuals and teams towards a common goal, and to use the skills of each individual and what their strengths and their weaknesses are, and using that to utilize a cohesive team to go towards a common goal. I wish I focused more on math in school. I didn't see the real value of math at the time, and once I started my business and designing the spaces that I was designing and the storefronts that I was designing, I really wish I had a better grasp of math than I did at the time. I wish I paid more attention. I understand that there are some accounting classes in high school that can be taken. I would highly recommend doing that, just to have a better understanding of the health of your business and being able to assess your business, where it's at, where it needs to be. The very first step in that would be having a basic understanding of accounting. One piece of advice I would give to inspiring entrepreneurs would be to stick with what you know you can do. Stick with that, and that will lead you far. I'm going back to school now to do just that, to expand my business. I see myself doing bigger projects. Now that I've learned how to do it on a smaller scale, small risk, I would like to do large scale, large risk projects that I now have the skills to properly manage those risks.